When the pandemic hit our state in March, students, teachers, and staff went home. And since then, nothing's really been the same for any of them and the students' parents.
We've invited two education leaders to look back and forward with us. They are Fran Rabinowitz, Executive Director of the Connecticut Association of School Superintendents, and Duncan Harris, Campus Chief Executive Officer of Capital Community College in Hartford. Thank you for joining us. Ms. Rabinowitz, what have Connecticut superintendents looked to you for most in this harrowing year?
I would say that they have looked to me to be the liaison to help them understand what was coming from the State Department of Education. And it was a time that we could network together to try to solve the issues we were up against. So I could bring perspectives from different parts of the state to groups of superintendents on how we might improve the remote learning for the students as it was happening.
Dr. Harris, in terms of higher education, can you give a sense of how you feel your students are doing, how the professors are doing? It's been a tough year.
It certainly has been a challenging year, and I will share full disclosure. I was actually contracted COVID back in March, and that certainly informed how I went about ensuring the safety of my faculty, staff, and students. And so that certainly framed and informed how we would move forward. But I will say that grades were submitted this week, and that our faculty rallied. Many of them developed new instructional pedagogies to support students. We rolled out online lab classes. We have the largest nursing program in the state. And so, our nurses were able to complete their clinicals. Those are frontline people that are essential during this period. And so, there are many things that will come out of this period that I think will continue to serve us, post-pandemic. But we're, delighted the way in which, our students were able to continue to move toward completion of their degrees.
Dr. Harris, is it possible to gauge whether or not your nursing school will attract more people as a result of what's happened, or if people are put off in any sense of that?
Well, I will say that people that go into that field, it's based on a passion for the work that I don't think has been deterred. There are heroes, and I think that certainly come out. And so we haven't experienced a decline in individuals interested in going into that field. If anything, it's just the opposite. And how can they serve and protect life, which is a key kind of attribute of the folks going into that field. So the program is extremely strong.
Ms. Rabinowitz, have your superintendents experienced any staffing problems at various points during the pandemic?
Yes. I mean, I have to say, our teachers have been phenomenal. But yes, there have been staffing issues because teachers have been forced to quarantine if they are exposed at home or in the community or at school. And so they were teaching remotely, and there were still children that were coming in either in a hybrid or in full. And there were some really very creative solutions to that, streaming between the remote classroom and in person. The governor put forward Step Up Connecticut, which gave us many volunteers that came in, and they came forward to assist with this. But yes, there were definite staffing shortages, and we're still seeing them right now.
Dr. Harris, what aspect of virtual learning do you see staying with us?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday was a snow day, right? Or typical snow day. And even on your channel, you'll notice that the closures were different. It said remote only.
Yes.
So in a similar fashion, we moved to telework and online instruction, in the case of weather events. And so our faculty have developed the capacity to be able to deliver instruction virtually now. 85% of our classes moved fully online this past fall. There were some that are specialized. Once again, the nursing clinicals, we have a large paramedic program. Also our radiological technology, so specialized equipment. We made provisions for them to be able to come on site. But other than that, we moved to the ability to fully deliver the instruction online. Many of our students enjoy it. They're able to repeat a lecture if they needed to. They're augmented kind of simulations and things like that. So I think in a short amount of time, the way in which we've developed strategies has been very impressive, very impressive.
So, Doctor, do you find that this is a more flexible way for students? Because a lot of community college students have full-time jobs. Could this perhaps attract more students?
Well, what we know is the students at my institution at Capital Community College, the average age is 28. And so what that means is many of them, they have houses or rent, they have bills, they have children at home, et cetera. And so, even during the midst of the pandemic, for many of them, it was a godsend in that they could be home with their children who are also learning remotely. We provided technology. And so we had, our friends at Otis provided us with laptops, et cetera. And we were able to continue to deliver instruction. And they didn't need to physically come to the campus in the midst of the pandemic. Even the ones that did, we made sure that there were protocols in place and masking and air filtration, et cetera. And but it for many, it caused them to not have to put their life on hold or their pursuit of their degrees on hold during the midst of the pandemic.
Ms. Rabinowitz, we're just about out of time, but looking forward, any positive thoughts as we move ahead in terms of how this may have affected education?
I think there's a silver lining in COVID. I know it brought its challenges, but I do believe that we have learned so much about distance learning. It will continue to be a part of our curriculum. It will allow us to enhance our curriculum in many, many areas. We have more technology now. We have more connectivity now. And we're not going to lose that as we move forward.
Great. Well,
I would also say that the social and emotional needs of students has been there. And we now know more than ever that we have to educate the whole child.
Thank you both so much for joining us. We appreciate it very much. And that's it for this edition of Face the State. Coming up, CBS Sunday Morning.
Join us next Sunday, our first program of 2021, when we'll invite more guests to Face the State.